Hi, Matthew from Factbird here, and today I'm going to be showcasing exactly what it is Factbird can do for you. So, Factbird is a lightweight software suite that can bring manufacturing intelligence to your shop floor operations. It's made up of 3 key applications. The first is production insights, and then connected operations and knowledge excellence. These 3 applications combine to drive data-driven decision-making, empower your workforce, and drive sustainable success. Let's explore what each application can do for you. So let's take a look at production insights. This focuses on capturing your production data, increasing visibility, and providing actionable insights. Having this sort of data allows your team to make faster and better decisions based on real production data rather than intuition. The application focuses on 3 core things: data capture, performance analytics, and shift management. Let's take a look. So let's start by taking a look at the factory overview page. Here we're going to see at a glance how the factory is performing. So we just see each of these tiles representing a different line in your site, and then some customizable KPIs that you can show or hide depending on what it is you want to see. Here we're just seeing the live graph over the last 8 hours on this line, the current status, and some OEE figures. But let's click into a line to see it in a bit more detail. So if I click into bottling line number 1 here, I can see the live page. This is live dynamic data coming through about how your production is performing. So here we're again getting that chart in a bit more detail, showing the fluctuating speed on your line. Some basic at a glance KPIs here in terms of how many units you've produced, what scrap you've had, what your value adding time. And you can look at this at a time level, such as 8 hours here. You can also look at a batch or shift specifically if you'd like to see that in more detail. But let's look at the last 24 hours as an example. You can see immediately the data updates to show you that 24-hour period. So that's the live performance of how it's actually happening. But let's take a look at some of our downtime we've had in the last 24 hours. We can come to this analytics page here where we're going to see a very quick and easy visualization of our downtime. So here we see it color categorized depending on how you categorize your downtime. And we can see here in unplanned downtime lost during operation, we've had 91 instances accounting for 245 minutes of downtime. If we click into that, we can see it in a bit more detail, telling that a product jam has been the biggest issue on this line, happening 70 times, costing 100 minutes. So very quickly, without needing to go looking for it, you can just see what your biggest issues have been and get attribution to just how big each issue actually is for you. Moving to the OEE page, looking at the last 24 hours, we're going to get these 4 categories of OEE broken down by the different types of stops that we mentioned earlier. You're going to get your total capacity utilization of the line, your OEE 3, which takes into account all 3 color codes of stop, OEE 2, which just takes into account yellow and red, and OEE 1, which only looks at your unplanned downtime. So you're going to get these breakdowns of OEE that shows you where exactly in your process you're losing the most percentages of efficiency. We can also take a look at some of our live dashboards here. So if I pull up the shift dashboard, I can see a real-time performance of how this line is performing. And a lot of our customers will actually have this on a television above the line. So at a glance, you can see the line is running. It has been in that state for the last 11 minutes. There's been 1 unregistered stop so far in this shift. And this black line here represents where they should be in terms of units produced by each timestamp in order to be on target. And we can see based on the fact it was green here, they were ahead of target. And then due to some issue here, they have fallen behind target. So it gives you that at a glance performance. Rather than looking back at historical data, you can actually act in real time based on what you see here. Connected Operations empowers your frontline workforce with intuitive digital tools. It includes digital guidance, quality, and maintenance, allowing for paperless workflow and supporting the smooth running of your operations. So jumping into the system here, where we're on the register stops page, where we typically see the operators spend most of their time, you can see down here there's now a list of activities, quality checks that have been triggered by the system. So an operator should see one of these pop up, and when they want to perform a quality check, they can click on the example here. And here they're going to be prompted with this box. This is a customizable form that will show you how to build, but for now, this is what the operator is going to be presented with. First, they'll be asked to input the weight in grams. So let's say this was 130 grams. The operator fills that in. And then they're asked to do a visual check to see if it is within specification, the shape using the sample board and the color using the scale. They have confirmed both of these pass the test, and so they will say that this test was a pass. And then they submit that. So with just a couple of clicks, we've digitalized this quality check and logged that in the Factbird system. So this is how the activities are carried out by the operators, but let's take a look at how you can actually build these activities for them to conduct. So we'll just come here to the activities page, come to activities, and here we've got our digital form builder. So this is the example of the one we just looked at, the quality check. Let's open that up as an example, and here you're brought to the digital form builder page. We can see what's been built here. You can see that these are all little modules that you can add on to build a custom form. So here's the weight one we looked at. You can see here that we've actually set a max and minimum here of 120 to 150 grams. And if it falls outside of this spec, it will automatically fail. So you can set those as predetermined metrics. Looking here at the visual check, we can see that is a checkbox function. And just to show you what can be added here, let's say add an element. You've got these different field types. So it can be text, numbers, some instructions, the pass-fail, which we saw at the end, or an image upload if you want an image to be attached to this form. You can also see the triggers here in terms of when these quality checks or just general activities get prompted. So to add a trigger for this, we can look at the different types of triggers. Let's look at every X minutes as an example, and let's say this is going to be every 30 minutes during a batch if the product is Factbird Pilsner. So during this, you can make it so that it's very customizable to say that if this product is running in a batch, then that is when this starts to get triggered. So that's the every X minutes. You could also make it as simple as just every 60 minutes after batch start on any product. It's very customizable. You can see every X units produced, so you could say every 1,000 units produced, this needs to be triggered. We could focus it on a specific event, such as a batch start or a shift changeover, a fixed time interval, so just every 2 hours, or based on a specific stop registration. So let's say if we do by this specific stop calls, let's say if there is a glass breakage, there is a standard operating procedure that needs to be followed. You can trigger to say if the stop cause glass breakage is registered by an operator, then they will be prompted with this activity that they will need to fill out and complete. You can also do that just by a general category, such as a changeover type stop. Or you can get really custom with it and trigger this as and when you want. So the whole point of this is it's built around flexibility so that you can build both the activities that are suitable to your workplace and trigger them when makes sense for you. So if I come back to the activities page, we can actually start to look at the reporting of as these activities start to get carried out. As I said, it's great to have these logged just for accountability for auditing your own quality or activities, but you can also see here how many pass and fails you've had, in this case just looking at the last 8 hours, but we could also look at this page based on a specific batch and see how many pass and failed activities we had within a batch or shift, or we could go to one of those specific activities such as open up our quality check activity and look at the different levels of pass and fail we've had there. Also, if we come down and select one instance, we'll be able to look at the historical record of when it was created, when it was completed, and what data was actually inputted by the operator. So this is how you can start to really digitalize your guidance, SOPs, and quality checks. But another feature that's quite important to this application is the maintenance side of things. So if I move over to the preventive maintenance feature here, we can see it's almost a similarly built part of the system where you can see your plans, log, and the actual current work orders. So if I start maybe with the maintenance plans, here you can build out plans for your maintenance team, saying this is the plan based on this asset on such and such a line, and give like a part number if you want, assign a role of who's to carry this out. You can add further instructions, and you can base the trigger of this maintenance activity on either cycles, calendar, or elapsed time. So cycles could be every 5,000 units produced, this task needs to be completed by the maintenance team. Calendar would be every Wednesday at 6 p.m. or elapsed time would just be every 6 hours or every, whatever that may be. So you build out this maintenance plan. And then you can come to work orders, and this is the page your maintenance team would likely be working with, where they can see their currently planned work orders, their overdue work orders, and their planned future work orders. So when the maintenance team are working with this, they'll click on it, they'll put in their initials, and they'll put in their comment in terms of what was actually completed by that maintenance team. So we'll complete that work order, and then that's going to be completed and restart the clock on when that's going to happen next. So that's how you can capture a lot of this information that exists within your operations. Knowledge Excellence provides a systematic approach to workforce development and sustainable process improvement. The app includes training, skills management, and continuous improvement. Let's take a look. So here in the knowledge section of the system, we can easily handle employee training and skill development. Now the foundation of this is in the learning activities section here. So here you can see where you can build new learning activities for your employees. Let's look at some examples. For example, this labeler job shadowing learning activity. I can click in here and edit the content of this learning activity. So here we see the introduction, the outline, the different tasks that need to be taking place to complete this learning activity. It's like a class of sorts. You give it a title, a general description, and select a location that is relevant to. You can require a start and end time if the operators need to register when they started and ended this training, and you can set a validity period if this training does need to be repeated at a certain interval. So these are the individual learning activities in terms of how an employee learns an individual smaller thing. However, when these combine together, they form skills. So moving to the skills page here, we can see these different skills that we've had. So to be able to operate the filler, to be able to operate the capper, general safety. If we select any of these, for example, the labeler again, if I click in here, I can see the learning activities that build this skill. So a skill is a combination of learning activities that when combined means that you are certified internally in having this skill. And that's important to know in terms of, just tracking if you have the right people on the right shift, that all of the necessary skills are covered. And to do that, to better understand if we have the necessary skills on shift, we can come to the skill matrix page here, which is quite an exciting development because we can suddenly start to see our workforce and understand what are they trained in. This information is typically paper-based, if even paper-based at all. It's kind of just understood that maybe this person is trained in such and such an area, whereas now we can start to document that digitally and really understand, okay, Sam here is qualified in all of these things. However, Anders here is new, likely. So we can see here that the green check means that they are finished in that skill. They have gone through the skills process. The outline in green here means that they are enrolled to learn this skill, but they still haven't completed it. So if I come here to Capper and I want Anders to be certified on the Capper, I can click on the plus and then I can enroll him. And you can see here the learning activities that are going to be involved in that. So I can click enroll. And now Anders is enrolled in the CAP course and he will be able to see that then the learning activities he needs to do in order to achieve that skill. Knowledge Excellence also contains various continuous improvement tools. Let's take a look at action plans as an example. So if I come to the analytics page here and I go into loss during operation and I'm investigating what have been the biggest issues on our line in the last 48 hours, and I notice there's been an unusually high amount of product jam. So I'll click into this here. And I will say, okay, this is an issue and we need to do something about it. So I will click on actions and say create an action plan. That is going to bring you to this input page where you are essentially following a PDCA framework to create an issue around this thing that you're seeing. So you go through and you'll be able to put in what you think the cause is, what you've done to contain it so far, what you think the countermeasure is and who is responsible for it, and then you'll be able to manage that within the system. Now, and as you can see here, because we've generated this from this page, we've linked this bit of data to this issue. So, this is moving away from whiteboard PDCA where you can't actually link any data to it really, unless you print out your pages and stick them up. So, it's really digitalizing this whole process so that you can then start to link data and work with these PDCA things much more effectively. So let's actually take a look at how these PDCA plans look once they're built. So if I come over here and I click on action plans, I can see some examples of some action plans that have already been generated. So here is just a list and you can prioritize them. You'll see what category they are and where on the PDCA process how far along they are. So let's look at this jam issue as an example. I can see the title, the category, the concern that the person who generated the issue had, the cause that they think it is, the containment they've currently taken so far, and their proposed countermeasure. You can also create tasks where you can say, okay, I need to get approval to try lowering the line speed. You can then tick off these tasks as they go. And this is all stored here and maintained. It's not like a whiteboard that's going to get rubbed off. You can really have this stored for a long time. You can click where you are at the PDCA process, create a due date, assign somebody to this task. So if you assign a certain production manager or maintenance technician, they will get an email saying that they have been assigned to such and such an action plan. And as I mentioned earlier, You can attach files, Factbird data, and have this as a one-stop shop for dealing with this issue. So that instead of having various sources, this is one source of truth on how far along we are with this issue, which really helps drive continuous improvement in your site. So there you have it. Factbird is designed to optimize and empower your shop floor operations. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit factbird.com or book in for a tailored, personalized demo. Thank you.